Volatility up. Headlines loud. Capital quiet. Let's go. Markets shaking, oil blazing, headlines escalating, retail panicking, institutions calibrating, adoption flat, that's the narrative they're stating. But balance sheets quietly reallocating, treasuries tokenized, 2 billion climbing, while fear on your feet got the timeline whining, 33 trillion, stablecoin whining, while the news cycle screaming, the sky's falling, BlackRock moving, rails improving, NYSE 24/7 proving, this ain't hype. This infrastructure building, smart money builds when the weak start fleeing. We allocated, we will rotate. Why the world screams panic, why the charts go manic. Headlines loud but the flows don't fail. Smart money moving, we build the rails. Through the smoke and friction, this is infrastructure vision. CME futures, hedging the fear. Northern Trust entering digital this year. Tokenized gold pushing 4 billion clear. RWA 25 billion frontier. CBDC ban, that's policy pivot. Private rails winning, stablecoin limits. Capital patient, don't need permission. While retail still chasing momentum ignition. You want adoption, it's slow and steady. But infrastructure, locked and ready when volatility spikes. We ain't unsteady, we accumulate when the tape gets heavy. We are located, we roll rotated, while the world screams panic, while the charts go manic. Headlines loud but the flows don't fail. Smart money moving, we build the rail. Through the smoke and friction, this is infrastructure vision. Infrastructure vision.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. That song was a little interesting. So this is what I'm gonna start doing. The intro songs are basically gonna be about all the stuff that we're talking about in the show, so you can hear. You know, there was a thing about Northern Trust in there, obviously some BlackRock stuff, whatever. But GM, guys, welcome to the W3BC Morning Macro. My name is Jay Chains. So now went through all the headlines, all that stuff today. Markets. Obviously, we're dealing with this geopolitical tension. The volatility is probably going to be elevated. I mean, yesterday we saw a little bit of activity. All the shorts got fucking smoked out yesterday. We saw that. Institutional surveys telling us crypto adoption is flat in 2026. We all know that's not true, but here's the disconnect. While operational adoption stalls, infrastructure is accelerating. Tokenized treasuries here in the U.S. have grown to nearly $2 billion. Year to date, stablecoins have processed over 33 trillion. Northern Trust, like I said, they just entered tokenized money markets. BlackRock is continuing expanding Bitcoin exposure. So the question I think we're going to ask today, and it would make sense, is crypto adopted? It's not that. It's who's building while everyone else is debating. Because look, the timeline, the capitulation, people are talking about all sorts of shit. Like people are just like, they've left crypto. They're talking about the war. They're talking about what's happening. They're talking about food. They're talking about all sorts of stuff. Like, I don't know. Retail's gone. That's all institutional stuff. So we'll break this stuff down. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you smash that like button. Now, I know, so we are streaming over on X, as that's my home platform. That's where I do most of my stuff. Appreciate you guys, as always, over there. Make sure that you tap the heart. You can get into the chat. But tap the heart, repost the video, tag some friends. If you are watching on YouTube, you guys know the drill. Smash that like button. It's probably just my mom watching over on YouTube. I think she's the only one that watches over there. And then also, I went live on LinkedIn. Now, I don't know if it's working or not. And by tomorrow, we'll have this figured out. But I think it's the right idea to go live on LinkedIn as well. It seems like that's a lot of activity in the crypto space over there. So I hope you are well. Happy Taco Tuesday. It is May 3rd. May 3rd. Pretty soon. March 3rd, not May. Jeez. If it was May 3rd, that means I would have just missed my birthday. Woo. That would have been terrible. Got the rocking the sport coat today. As you know, we're stepping up the game here. We're standing. I don't know if I want to sit. Some days I'll sit, some days I'll stand. It really all depends on how I'm feeling. And that's the way the game goes. But let's go. Who do we got in the chat? Crypto Brian, bringing home the gold medal today. Cheers, brother. Congratulations. We got Crypto Brian. He is lighting up the chat. Let's go. TradFi is adopting blockchain. I will tell you what, man. After going to, and once we go through some of these stories, I think, we'll start to understand a little bit more. But, just a few weeks ago, I was in New York City for the Ondo Summit. Wall Street 2.0, V2, second year in a row. Back to back, baby. Look. I'm going to be doing a giveaway because I got an extra pair. So I got a hat last year. And then I got a hat this year because I'm going to have, a trophy room of all the Ondo stuff from all the summits that I go to. But I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I got an extra pair of Ondo socks. Bullish on stonks. And an Ondo hat. So if you are an Ondo fan, an Ondovian, an Ondo... Man, I know we did this once before. And some of the names were just terrible. But I'm going to probably start building my back of Ondo. And when we took a look at the charts, we'll look at the price. I think it was about 24 cents. Oh, look at that. I see there's a comment over on LinkedIn. Checking the comments right now from my wife, Whitney. Thank you so much, honey. She obviously scoped out the scene. Checked it out, made sure that we are live over on LinkedIn. So we are. So shout out to anybody checking it over on LinkedIn. Look, let's go. Open to work. We are open to work. Let's see here. Trucker Mike, let's go. We got the crew is assembled. D-Gens assemble. Let's go. Ondo is at a real good price. Dollar cost averaging on it lately. That's really good. Let's just see really quick because we can definitely pop over to TradingView. Ondo's at 25 cents, down 2% today. Here, let me pull this up so you guys can see that. There you go. There's the Ondo chart. This is the daily, as you know. Big opportunity. Look at that. Big stretch there. Between some of those moving averages. So big opportunity to catch that back up when it does pop. But we'll get into all that stuff in just a little bit here. We will get into that. Michael Navarro in the house. Let's go. GM fam. Happy Taco Tuesday. I don't know if we're having tacos or not tonight for dinner. If you guys are having tacos, drop them in the chat. What kind of tacos are you making? If you're not having tacos, drop them in the chat. Want to know. I did get some pancetta at the store the other day. And I want to make carbonara. I saw my wife got a new dozen of eggs, so we got the tools that we need. And most of you, maybe you don't care about carbonara, but it's delicious. And so I was thinking yesterday that I wanted to have that for dinner tonight. However, I didn't realize that it was Tuesday, so we may have tacos. I don't know. But what are you having for dinner? The tacos on Monday, they were fire. See, sometimes you don't have to live by the rule, live by the sword, die by the sword. Now, I do understand you'd be like, yo, dude, so you're saying you don't have to have tacos on a Tuesday, but you have to have pizza on a Friday? Absolutely. That's an institution. Pizza Friday is an institution. Taco Tuesday, that's merely a suggestion. That's like saying, let's have turkey bacon wraps on Wednesday or something, just because it's synonymous with the letter T. Nah, man, we don't play that game. Taco Tuesday, merely a suggestion for the people who are unable to come up with their own ideas. My opinion. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Taco Tuesday. Here we go. Chris in the building. Let's go. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, David. Let's see. Keto shell tacos. That's the move. It's all about, listen, I'm all about like no carb, low carb, and I don't have the celiac stuff at all. I'm not a celiac kind of guy. I know that like my body feels better. I think I can manage my weight better. And, you know, I'm not going to do gluten-free or dog shit pizza. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I am going to just always have normal. And same thing with pastas. Like, and if I'm going to have bread, I just need to cut the bread out. And if I'm going to have bread, it's going to be, my wife made a sourdough starter over the last couple of weeks. Almost killed it when we went to Chicago, but it's alive. It's perfect. We've been rocking and rolling with this thing, built the starter, but, I got to cut the bread out, but only if I am going to do some bread, it's got to just be, you know, from that homemade sourdough. And I probably would get an attachment to make pasta from the KitchenAid, and then we'll just use that and make our own pasta. And as long as it's the homemade shit, I'm okay with that. It's a little different. It hits different. What's up, guys? Good morning. Smash the like button. Let's go. See what else we got here. David B. Not financial advice. This is none of this is ever financial advice, as you guys know. We are here just to have fun, rock and roll. We're going to go through the news. This will be some of the macro stuff. We'll see what's happening in the space, kind of shape the narrative. The whole idea really, and kind of like in the intro thing, and I'll work on that, and that will get better, obviously. But the whole idea, and if you look at like the title of the show, institutions build during fear, I think that pretty much sums it up completely. Let's see. We want that back open. I want to go to Coin Market Cap here. And while we talk about that, let me pull that up. You guys can see. Look, fear and greed is climbing to 20. Remember when we looked at this yesterday? Last week. There we go. Jay in the building. Midas in the building. Let's go. Yesterday when we looked at this, it was 18 or 19, right? It was on the high side of the teens. Last week when we were looking at the fear and greed index, it was single digit, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, right? So we're growing. Altcoin season sitting at a 37. This ain't altcoin season quite yet. What kind of shrimping opportunities do we have? Give me a second here. In case you guys don't know, we got a little thing here. Where is this? Yarr! Captain J Chain's in the building. We're going to be looking at some shrimping opportunities. And if you don't know what shrimping is, well, now you know, because we're going to go through it. So shrimping is when you go to, and sorry for that. That just happens. When I hear that tugboat, I just slip into the you and the cap and make it happen. On CoinMarketCap, if you go to the altcoin season index page, it'll give you some information about the altcoin season index. And then you could probably figure out some of this information yourself. Like if you go to TradingView, there are some charts that you can look at that remove some of the big players. You can look at charts that remove Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can look at charts that remove stablecoins. You can look at charts that remove the top 10. So you were looking at purely altcoins, and that gauges the index a little bit better of what's happening here. But, you know, this is, look, boom, it's information right here in your face. So sitting at a 36 for the altcoin season index is wonderful. We know it's rising. We were down here in the 20s not too long ago towards the tail end of last year, right? But what we're looking at is this shrimping. And shrimping, if you guys don't know, shrimp are bottom feeders. I don't eat shrimp. I will eat shrimp in sushi. That's the only application that I will eat shrimp in. I will not eat shrimp any other way. I don't want scampi. I don't want cocktail. I don't want salad, nothing. No, thank you. It's disgusting. But I will eat it in sushi. But they are bottom feeders. And so when we go shrimping, what do? Let's go to the bottom. So we look down here and see like, okay, we got to set this up a little bit more. So this is the top 100 coins performance over the last 90 days. And one of the things that we love to do is figure out, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's the king. It's the commander-in-chief, the president, if you will, of the crypto society. And Bitcoin's performance is down 27.74% in the last 100 days. So that's our basis. That's where we can gauge like, okay, what's a good opportunity from here? Because if Bitcoin is down this much, which the answer, first of all, is if we're shrimping and Bitcoin is down double digits in the last 100 days, it's a bright idea to start buying some fucking Bitcoin, all right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, DCA number one. It's the only thing. And I'm getting ready. When I set up my forever portfolio, I threw a couple other altcoins in, and I'm changing my mind, and I need to have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and some Ondo, and that's where I'm stopping for now. And I will add some other, like I've got some Solana, I've got some Sui, something else, right? And I don't know if I want to keep that stuff. I might just want to just wipe the slate clean and put it all into Bitcoin that I've got in cold storage, and then as I continue my DCAs, maybe add some other little things. We'll see. I want to know what you guys think. What are some of the DCAs that y'all are doing? Drop them in the chat if you got some DCA stuff. That would be wonderful to know. Crypto Brian says he ain't buying no more trash. Nope. Nope. No more trash. Crypto money has shifted into metals. You know what's funny is that I am totally like interested in the whole metals thing, but from a different standpoint. Like I want to start like, and it's weird, but I want to start doing the side hustle thing and going to like garage sales, okay, and trying to find the silver, whether it's whatever through whatever applications you can, right? And then I want to get a foundry or forge, whatever it is, and I want to start melting it down. It's funny, in my garage a long time ago. It was like one of those similar situations. I'd gotten like a couple bags of silverware, and some really big silver pieces, like this insane silver ladle. And I mean, why the fuck not? Like, I don't need a big ass silver ladle that's just oxidizing in my garage that's been out there for a couple years. Let's melt that sucker down into some doubloons or ingots, I believe is what they're called, or just make like our own coins. And maybe what we can do, and with that, not only that, but like we'll separate like the silver from the other metals, but we can make a cast. We'll make a community cast, and I will. We'll make some physical coins, some physical community coins. Like it'll be like proof of community. Proof of the community. All right. What is up? What is up? All right. Let's get into some of this stuff right here. All right. So that was far too long of a conversation to explain what's happening here. So here we go. We're shrimping. Remember, buy some Bitcoin because it is down 27% in the last 100 days. It may go down even more. Just remember your DCA. It's DCA time. You don't have to unload the whole thing unless you just want to do one buy and be done with it. Like there's a lot of speculation of, is it going to slip into the 30s? Like I'm pretty confident that, with Bitcoin, it is going to dip farther. We are going to see more of a closer run to, I think, the 39, right? And some people think that's insane. But say it doesn't go that far, but it goes down a little bit more, you might not time the actual bottom. So just get while the getting is good, because right now the getting is good. Bitcoin itself is down almost 30% in the last 100 days. So that means, what are some of these other opportunities? Let's go to the bottom. You've got midnight down here. After midnight, we're going to let it all hang out. Let's see. IP, no. ENA, SPX, no. Arbitrum, now. Say. You could get some Say. Some Aptos. Feel free. Ondo, down 50%. Definitely. Aerodrome. I saw one of the homies picking up a nice little on a leverage trade yesterday with Aero. Congratulations. You know who you are. We can talk if we want to start naming names and all that stuff. But let's go. Speaking of leverage trading, you could scan that code. If you're watching on a computer, you could scan that code. It'll get you what you need to get an account over on BitUnex. You can start trading with us. I talked to my guy Tomas. Shout out to Tomas. He was saying we did a pretty good campaign with the sign up bonus. We got a couple people who signed up over the last couple of weeks. So shout out to the team. I need to figure out who's who so that we can like figure out who the team is, and I want to make sure people are in the Discord in certain sections. I gotta do some more work on this, and I will do that this week to structure that and figure how things go. But we are going to be doing a new campaign. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be another sign-up bonus. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be. We've gone over some things in the past, so he and I will go through that probably in the next couple days here, and then figure out what we can do to sweeten the deal. To get any of you trading on over here with us, part of the squad. We're trying to build a really solid trading community. Again, launching the Discord. I've got the structure of the Discord done. I don't have like the roles and like the hierarchy of like how that works and it's connected to like the paywall and stuff. Like I don't have that working right now, and I'm working on it, and I will get that done. So bear with me. But there are some people in the Discord. I'm definitely, you guys know that that has been, probably one of my derelictions as far as crypto goes over the last several years, is the capacity of being in there. However, we are making the change. That's where the community is going to go. And so right now we're doing all the streaming here. We're on YouTube, we're on X, we're on LinkedIn. At some point, I'm fairly confident that we may shift all of that into the Discord so that that's where we are. I mean, X is getting crazy with their posts and their promotions and all that stuff. And, everything that we do is kind of along that line. We're talking about gambling, we're talking about trading, we're talking about all that stuff. We work with BC Game, we work with BitUnix. So, we'll see. Maybe it's time to just shift away to a little private ecosystem. And obviously we'll have to, inject ourselves here on these platforms to strengthen our community. But, we'll see. We'll see about all that stuff. Blocky in the building. What's up, Grandpa Blocky? Let's go. My guy. Good to see you again, man. Let's get I buy a lot of old English silver coins. Okay. What's funny is when my wife went to Ireland with her mother several years ago, she got me like a shilling from like, I want to say the 1600s or something like that. And so I got a couple really old coins and some gold shipwreck stuff. And I'm a big fan, like we were talking about earlier, precious metals. And so I'm really looking forward to melting down some metal into our doubloons. Yarg. Run the tugboat. All right, so IMX, if you're a gamer, if you still think that's going to rip, I mean, that's down. Graph, TIA, Injective. Casper, the Bitcoin killer. The Bitcoin killer. Casper, 3 cents. My gosh. Do you think this thing will ever come back? And I mean, obviously, it's got the loyal community members, but do you think it's actually ever going to come back? I don't know. All right, let's get into some news. I think we've rambled on, kind of gone through a little bit of this enough. David's a grandpa 4 times. There you go. All right. Okay, let's get into this. Here we go. Here's our first article of the day today. Institutional crypto adoption remains flat in 2025. That's interesting how it says 2025. We are in 2026, just so you guys know. I feel like this might be a typo. The Retail Banker International. This article did come out today. This didn't come out in March 2nd of 2025. It's 2026. Let's go here. Oh, okay. So I see the story is about 2025. That was my bad. A global sentiment poll has shown no change in institutions' interest in operational crypto adoption between the half one and H. See, you know what's funny? Is we started doing that last year. That instead of quarters, SWE, when they started talking about the SWE Play 1, they started talking about halves of the year. And so I shifted my mentality to, I love that. It's the first half or the second half. Like, you don't have to worry about the quarters. If you want to be more granular, you can. H1, H2. I love that. I feel like now that I realize that this is 2025, like it doesn't matter because like institutional crypto adoption, it might have remained flat in 2025. That's no longer the case. And we can unequivocally talk about that through things like what's been happening over the last several months. Let's see, what could we, let's look at rwa.com, .xyz. Because that is a good site. This is a fantastic site for you to go and get an idea of what is actually happening, within the institutional world, because, they're handling a lot of, these, a lot of these assets that are going on chain, right? So the global market overview is up almost 8.5% in the last 30 days, 26.22 billion. You've got the stablecoin value, almost $300 billion. I feel like it, let's see, that feels like a number we looked at yesterday that was up over 300 billion. So I think when we took that little dip the other day, or it was up over it the other day. But this is a great site, by the way. I want to make sure that you guys use the rwa.xyz to get your tokenization information, to get your metrics. I mean, you can, and let's see, I want to make sure that we are on, let's look at US Treasuries, because this is one of the more important things. This is probably one of the more important metrics that I look at in the morning when I'm putting this stuff together for, really a lot of the institutional data and the RWA tokenization metrics is this right here. And this value right here, I mean, this was 10 billion. This was 10 billion yesterday, and it was creeping, low 10 billions a few days ago. I think Monday when we started, like 10.3 billion, 10 like 8 billion yesterday, something like that. And so we're over 11 billion today. So obviously this is growing. You can look at by the asset. I like to look by the network. Like I said earlier, like to watch these exponential growths, and look at this, like the metrics that we've been talking about, the metrics that we've been looking at, are obviously scaled out into 2030, right? And we talked about this whole thing yesterday, looking with like, Boston Consulting Group and some of the other firms that have came out with reports talking about where we think that the market cap of these ecosystems are going. But look, I mean, you can just see Ethereum controls the narrative 100% for tokenization, and that's not going to change. I particularly do not believe that there is any other blockchain that is as equipped to handle where we are going as Ethereum. Now, I know you'll be like, the fees and all that stuff. Institutions don't care. Enterprise levels don't care about those fees. And I know that you, in some way, and when I say that, that's not like to be stupid, because, for, people like budgetary concerns and all that stuff, yes, they do care, because without a shadow of a doubt, like with a scaling, transactional cost, like, that's not something you could budget. And I get that. So, but, some of these massive institutions just won't care if it's $1,000 for a transaction fee versus a penny that you're going to pay on something like Base. But Ethereum is the choice of TradFi. Brian is right. Ethereum is the choice of traditional finance. It's the number 2. It's the most recognized. It's the most credible. It's been around the second longest after Bitcoin, and it has the most capabilities that, that they could probably understand at this particular moment. Are there, like, Solana's faster? I get it. Avalanche is better for certain regards. I know that, a lot of people are going to talk about what are some of the other things. I want to make sure that I hit them so you guys don't get mad at me. Solana, Stellar, here we go. Ethereum, Solana, Stellar, Aptos, XRP, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Plume, Polygon Base, Psi, Mantle, Optimism. There you go. Sui. All right. You got a few more in there. Pole, the old Matic, man. I'll tell you what struggle bus that thing is going to be. All of us had, I know a lot of us had higher expectations for Polygon, like unequivocally higher expectations, but they shot themselves in the foot somehow, some way. And I just don't know if that becomes a recoverable thing. I mean, we'll see. We will see what the future holds. All right, let's move on to our next article here. Navigating the Crypto Market and Evolution with Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar Futures. And this came out of the CME group this morning. Since the launch of Bitcoin futures in 2017 and Ether futures in 2021, we have provided global investors with a secure, centrally cleared venue for crypto exposure and risk management. Building on 2025 introduction of the Solana and XRP futures and options, the launch of Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar futures on February 9th further expands traders' crypto choices. And again, when I think probably the main thing about this article for me is adoption, growth, acceptance. When you start to see other coins being talked about at these levels besides Bitcoin and Ethereum and stable coins. I mean, obviously XRP is, everybody's favorite. Cardano, I got a problem with Cardano, man. I don't think Cardano is going to be what it once was. We can look at the charts later and all that stuff, but I just don't feel like it has it anymore. I don't think it has the support. It doesn't have the love. It doesn't have any of that. And so I don't know. We'll see where it goes. There's a lot of people who hate me for talking shit on Cardano. I tell my mom to sell her Cardano all the time. She's not going to. She believes in Charles, and I feel like that's what a lot of people have faith in Charles. And trust me, Charles is a great guy. I'm not talking shit. I'm not dogging Charles at all. Charles is an amazing person. He is a very kind guy. I've gotten a chance to meet him several times throughout my crypto journey. He's a very smart individual. He knows what he's doing. He's contributed to this crypto ecosystem in a lot of ways. And so I'm not shitting on Charles. I just don't think Cardano is the future. But anyway, Chainlink, that's a good name as well, to see kind of get more exposure. A lot of us feel like Chainlink, Chainlink's the Oracle solution. Chainlink is going to be the Oracle solution that dominates. And there are some other options. I know that. We all know that. We're all pith heads deep down as well. But Chainlink is the solution for institutions, enterprises, in going to a lot of, when I went to, where the hell was that? That was in Toronto. I went to a Chainlink private function and got to chat with Sergey and Chris and a bunch of other people there over in the Chainlink squad. And it was the things that they're doing, the way that they talk is just absolutely amazing. And so I'm a big fan of Chainlink. When I were talking earlier in the show, I've got the portfolio, the cold storage portfolio, and I feel like Chainlink would be one of those. And so if we were to expand Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ondo, and Chainlink, those would be the four coins that we can do it like this. 4. That would be the 4 that I'll hold in cold storage. All right, let's get back to this article. So Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar operate across distinct sectors of the digital economy with each unique characteristics as detailed in the following table. So you can check this stuff out. You can go on the CME group and find, these. I don't need to read them to you. We're just going to look through this article. Continued growth in crypto products. 2025 was a record year for our crypto product suite. So this is only going to get bigger and bigger every year. I mean, you can see there are some off years like 2021. 2021 had a, is that a Trekkie hand sign? I have no idea, man. I don't know anything about Star Trek. The only thing that I know about Star Trek is this one, right? Take me to your leader. That's the only one I know. Nanu. Yeah, whatever. Something like that. 2021, we saw a big spike here. 2022, 2023 went a little bit more flat, right? And then 24 to 25, pop. 2026 is probably going to be a big year. But it's going to be later in the year, unless I'm mistaken. Unless we actually have a couple years of a bear market, I just don't see it. Wednesday night, if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that we'll talk about on Trade Daddies, Mike and I, Modern Canadian, we're going to have Bits of Wealth on. And I'm really excited. He's had some contrarian opinions. He's had some bearish sentiments over the last several years. When a lot of us were bulls, he was bearish, and he ended up being right on some things. And so I want to Definitely have a conversation. I'm excited to, not that I want to, I'm excited to have a conversation with him Wednesday night with Mike, Modern Canadian, on Trade Daddies to talk about where we are, what we think, what we're looking at. Because about three different ways that I'm looking at it for Bitcoin specifically, I'm looking at, about 38, 39,000. About three different ways that I see it. So I want to see if anybody else is looking at it that way. All right. Chat said no one has any money to buy any crypto. People are living off credit. Savings are falling off a cliff. Start the money printer, right? That means that's going to come out soon. And we've got an article about, they're talking about banning CBDCs. And so that is going to be coming up a little bit later in the show. We've got an article to talk about that. So that's always been one of those things where, look, for mass immediate adoption, you manufacture a crisis and you create the solution. And so that being said, to bring everyone that they can in as fast as they can into this digital society, you create a black swan event, and your relief, your stimmy, whatever it is in the form of digital bucks. But all you need to do is download this app. Just download this app, and you get your stimmy tonight at midnight when we process all the payments. At midnight, we process payments. Everybody gets paid the next day. Boom, boom, boom. So just get this app. And then from that point, you've got your CBDC. Hypothetical. It's a hypothetical situation. That's how I see it happening and coming into our society. But that's a conversation that I would love to have with someone else at some point. I do want to make sure that maybe once a week we have a guest on the show. And so if you guys got any ideas, people who, it's going to be early, right? Like the show starts at 8 a.m. on the East Coast. So if you're, someone works or lives over on the West Coast, like over in California, it's going to be an early start. I'm definitely more than welcome to have anybody on. I mean, you could be over in the UAE or in Europe, and it's later in the day, so that's fine. But once a week, maybe we'll figure out, the day that works best to do this. But I want to do, have the, the option to have somebody on and have a guest on this show as well. So if anybody wants to join, you're like, well, shit, dude, I would love to have a conversation about something with you one morning. Let me know. Let's, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message, drop it in the chat. That's cool with me. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. And then, we'll get things going. And even like tomorrow, like it could be Wednesdays, halfway through the week, we do a, we do like a community, checkup. We have like, maybe a couple people on. It doesn't matter. But definitely would be fun to connect with, at least, to do a back and forth and ask some questions with somebody at least one day a week. So let's talk about that. So go ahead and smash the like button as well, depending on where you guys are watching. I appreciate you being here. I know you could be doing anything, starting your day out, but you are here hanging out with us, so I appreciate you. Get in the chat and let's go. The only people buying crypto hold crypto, 100%. And that'll change soon, though. That will change soon. I'm pretty sure. All right. Tokenized U.S. Treasuries grew by nearly $2 billion year to date. Crypto.com received conditional approval for a national bank trust charter. That's a good 2-for-1 article in here. And this is one of those things that we were looking at, right? If you go back, let's go back to, the beginning of, year to date. So you go back to the beginning of 2025, and we were at 4 billion. And now, like roughly around there, right? And that's what it's showing you is that, look, we're showing exponential growth year after year here when it comes to these tokenized U.S. Treasuries. That's what I was on, right? Yeah, tokenized U.S. Treasuries. Yep. All right. Let's go through. Here's the quick take. We'll go through the quick take and then we'll move on. I know we got a few more articles to get through today. Tokenized U.S. Treasuries increased by nearly $2 billion year to date. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs had a net inflow of 787. What? Man, they put a lot of things on this article. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs had a net inflow of $787 million last week compared to $316 million net outflow the week prior. Look, as we were talking about this, I think Monday and Tuesday, man, you got to be swimming with the whales. And like, so if you go to, that's going to be something that you guys add into your, like into your like routine of what are you looking at? Like when you're doing like your research on crypto, you got to be checking the ETFs because look, this is an institutional game now. We know this. The retail people are not here. This site is taking quite some time to load up. I thought I had it open, but that stinks. Here we go. And so I switch it between. Man, that's interesting. These numbers. This is taking a very long time to load up. But that being said, when you're looking at these things, and when you're like going through your research stuff in the morning, again, like it's not just looking at your portfolio. It's not just looking at a chart. And most people are probably just looking at one chart. You got to look at all these stories. And so, like, I set myself these crazy Google alerts, and I get them every morning. And you check these stories out, and you figure out, all right, which are the more like the signal ones? What's telling the best story, right? And so you find that and you see, okay, look, like this story was selling us like spot Bitcoin ETFs had a net inflow of almost $1 billion last week compared to an outflow of $500 million the week before. Okay, that's a good indication that, smart money's buying. And we should always be doing what smart money is doing. Man, this is crazy. What the hell's going on with the CoinGlass site? Oh, okay, there we go. IBIT is the BlackRock. So that's the one that I put the most probably attention on for me because look, BlackRock, they don't swing to miss. They understand what's happening. They control, they're a market maker. They know what's up. So you do kind of what they're doing. And so you be paying attention. And people are like, that's the enemy, dude. Not the enemy. They're in control. They run the show now. So do what they do. All right. So I wanted to look at that. You got your net inflows here. Here, this right here. This is what I'm gonna look at. Look. And there's what's it? There's on the all. So this goes back to 2024. So you can see like we've had positive flow. But this down here, this Bitcoin price, at some point when we string, because look, it sucks when that thing pops up. So just like look on like the chart, like north of like where I'm at. Like, do you see like when we go from all these green, and there was a majority green, right? Some pretty high greens, and the reds are tiny right here, to a nice sharp dip, like right here, right? And look, that brought the Bitcoin price down. And then we had a lot of these that were right here that brought the Bitcoin price up. And then since then, we've had majority in the red compared to the green. Well, at some point that's going to switch, right? And that's the correlation between inflow and Bitcoin price. When we have a massive swing in the inflow, and you start to see these things up in here in excess of $1 billion a day, when that starts to stack, you expect that price to start rolling. And when that price starts rolling, you better have those longs in, boys and gals, because we are down here. And like, you could probably set yourself, and I'm using cross when I leverage trade right now. But you could use isolated. You could use yourself a low, give yourself a very low. Remember, we're only using 10x on the show if we're putting in live trades. You can use yourself a low leverage. Like a super low, like 2x, whatever. Get yourself just a little bit more to maximize a little bit more of the rise of Bitcoin, because we all know that's going to happen. Again, there may be one more push down, so make sure you got some wiggle room in your trade if that's what you're doing. But definitely make sure that you've got the ability to, in my opinion, handle a drop down to at least 39,000, and then we'll probably see a wick from there. But that being said, for now, look, the price is way down. There's been some heavy ETF outflow, which is a net result of the price being down. And at that point, this chart should be something that you're watching, and notice the pattern that when we start to see the flip script, when we see those billion-dollar days start to stack up and grow, that's going to bring the price of Bitcoin up. Yo, GM Cole in the building. Okay. What is tokenized gold? We don't need to talk about that. The New York Stock Exchange tokenized equity plan signals market structure shift. The TD Securities Vice President for Electronic Trading, Reed Nooch, said the NYSE push to tokenized equities carries real implications for market structure, describing it as 2.0 market shift rather than minor product addition. All right. The platform is going to allow 24-hour trading and near instant settlement, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was originally planned for February of this year, which we did not make. Well, no, 24/5. It was going to be 24/5. But that never really quite understood, like, why would you switch to a 24/5? Just like when you're ready, just make it on all the time. Like, it just didn't seem weird to like still have the weekends off. Like, that would be strange. All right. Tokenized equities have recently began gaining traction as a distinct category. Kraken's X Stocks platform reported more than 25 billion in cumulative trading volume since its launch last year, making it one of the more active venues in the space. These tokenized stocks are definitely a game changer, a big time game changer. I heard from a lot of companies, a lot of people, but they work for some pretty big companies at the Ondo Summit, hearing about their excitement for this. And, that from a settlement standpoint, from all sorts of different standpoints, it's a pretty cool thing where we're going. Ushering in the digital age. This is just one of those, if you've been in the space for a while, it should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you think about it, because look, man, we're ground floor motherfuckers. Like, we are, like, whether we like it or not. And there's some people newer in the space, and that's fine. But, if you were here, a few cycles ago, like, man, you got some lumps. Like, a lot of us made it and lost it. Some people hung on to it. Some people didn't. But we're like true pioneers. We can say, like, we when we look down the future, when our grandkids are studying crypto in school, like, we'll have, hopefully we've still have our memories, and we can talk about the experiences that we had. We'll be like, bring grandpa to school day. He's talking about crypto, the early days of crypto. Okay, so here's a fun opinion article. RWA crosses $2 billion, but is it real adoption or just branding? Buzzwords, buzz. Blockchain. I'm not bullish on RWA, not because I don't get it, because I do, he wrote. Oh. He laid out an 11-point case against RWAs. Let's check this out. Andy, here we go. I'm a crypto guy. I'm a crypto guy. Bitcoin class of 2012, 2013. ICO class of 2017 was, man, I'll tell you what, that was a joyous time. Invested in token real estate in 2018. Invested into token RMO license 2019. I am not bullish on RWA, not because I don't get it, because I do. Here's a contrarian thread. 1, RWA works very well in TradFi, titles, deeds, escrow, yield distribution, compliance, settlement. It's not broken. Crypto doesn't fix the hard parts. Legal enforcement, physical custody, jurisdictional risk. It adds a new attack surface. 2, let's be precise. This is more blockchain than crypto. If you tokenize a deed, but settle in USD, enforce via courts and custody off chain, where's the crypto native value? But do you need? Yeah, okay. The TVL illusion. Look, X million in real estate on chain, but it was bought with crypto. Is the capital crypto native? No, it's fiat wrapped, legally ring fenced, and redeemable off chain. That's not adoption. That's branding. Whoa, this guy's laying some heavy hitters right now, isn't he? Tokenizing yield, rental yield. Banks and property managers already automate distributions. Adding a smart contract doesn't remove the need for legal entity structure, tax reporting, tenant enforcement, You just add Oracle risk. Or, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some AI integration into all of this that, helps. Who knows? Even if a deed goes on chain, what percent of global real estate moves daily? Less than 0.1%. Tokenization doesn't create liquidity, exposes illiquidity. Fractional ownership does not equal frequent trading. Who's market making your tokenized condo in Boise? 24/7 markets for tokenized stocks sounds sexy, but volume isn't a function of open hours. Hours open, it's a function of liquidity depth, institutional participation, arbitrage efficiency. 24/7 means 24/7 compliance, overhead, and payroll. Yeah, but a lot of this is automated, my guy. It's got to be. The only compelling use case I see, tokenized stocks, better perps. Why? Because derivatives thrive on composability, leverage, and global access, but that's a crypto native product inspired by RWA, not RWA itself. Big difference. How long is this? All right, there's just a little bit more. Removing middlemen is the oldest marketing play in tech. Reality, tokenizing RWAs to add intermediaries, legal wrapper entities, custody providers, compliance oracles, insurance layers, off-chain dispute. Tokenizing a stock does not equal bypassing the exchange. And the oracle problem is fatal for many RWA narratives. What could make me bullish? That's really interesting. That's an interesting point. It does add some all of this adds some complexity to all of it, but I think the whole idea is it doesn't just add complexity onto what's happening now, is that the whole idea is that this replaces the entire structure. And that's, some people, I probably would be willing to suggest that some people don't quite believe in that yet, or understand that that is the ultimate goal, is that it's to replace that structure, not to. I don't believe it's to complement it. I don't believe it's to duplicate it. It's meant to replace it. So maybe it's just the old guard hanging on. We'll see how that goes. Okay, this is what I was telling you guys a little bit ago, and with this one, I'll definitely look at some charts. Look at the stablecoin charts. Take a look at that. U.S. Senate housing bill includes CBDC ban. The Senate Banking Committee's bipartisan Road to Housing Act includes a provision banning the Fed from issuing a CBDC before 2031. Okay. I like that. The Senate Committee on Banking and Urban Development. Elizabeth Warren's in here, huh? See, introduced Monday by Committee Chairman Tim Scott and Ranking Member Elizabeth Warren, respectively to the top Republican and Democrat on the committee, aims to make it easier to build houses in the U.S. Well, that's good. Let's see. Neither lawmaker mentioned the CBDC ban, which occupies just 2 pages in the bill. Let's see. Let's read that section. Except as provided in subsection C, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System or a Federal Reserve Bank may not issue or create a central bank digital currency or any digital asset that is substantially similar to a central bank digital currency directly or indirectly through a financial institution or other intermediary. All right. White House published a statement of administration policy supporting the bill, explicitly supporting the CBDC provision in the 2-paragraph statement. So this came out of the White House. The administration highlights the inclusion of presidential priorities to halt the development of a central bank digital currency that could pose significant threats to personal privacy and liberty. There you go. There you go. In other news, scam token against Uniswap dismissed by U.S. District Judge in New York City. BlackRock acquires Bitcoin company MetaPlanet through ETF for the first time. Oh, we wanted to, speaking of that, and this is another stablecoin. Stablecoins hit 33 trillion. Now they're coming for ticketing. Let's do this really quick. What does that mean? Volume on MEXC stablecoin, according to MEXC, stablecoin transaction volume hit 33 trillion in 2025, up 72% from the prior year. So let's go here. We've got, here is the, we do some different candles. No. Let's just keep it as candles then. We could take it off. We'll keep it on the daily. Just zoom in. So the last 2 years. So the beginning of 2025 is what we want, right? I guess this only goes to June. All right. So here's the stablecoin chart. This is stablecoin market cap. Here, let me bring it all the way up so you can see the whole thing. There you go. Currently sitting at $309 billion. And so I would have to determine exactly what stable coins is included in this chart. I would assume Tether and USDC. Couldn't remember that for some reason. That was crazy. Let's see. Well, that's what I'm gonna figure out exactly what goes into all that. If there's anything else. And then from there was, here we go, stablecoin dominance. This was something I've been looking at as well. This was a chart that was recommended for me to take a look at. And you could see this also. Can we go on the weekly on this, or is it? Yeah, that's just, but either way you slice it. I mean, look, stablecoin dominance. I believe that will continue to go up because, yeah, there'll always be meme coins, but it's the big players and stable people are, especially right now, if we are going to go into a bear market. I'm not quite sure that we're not due for a rally, right? If we let's look at Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't even know if we looked at the Bitcoin chart today. It's in at 66.9. So we saw a little bit of a resurgence here. 9:15, guys. Remember, I want to make sure that you guys start looking at that. I'll probably be off the stream by then, but I want to make sure that at 9:30, I said 9:15, 9:30, you start marking the 15-minute candle to see where that's going to go. So tomorrow night, I'm confident Mike and I will talk about that. Again, we've got Bits of Wealth on, so make sure you tune into Trade Daddies, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a great time there. But, all right. So let's look at Ethereum. Are there any other stories that we want to check out before we move on to just the charts? We talked about that. Let's look at this one really quick. We do want to, Northern Trust. I got a buddy who used to work for Northern Trust, high in their derivatives department. But Northern Trust Asset Management enters digital asset market with the launch of a tokenized money market share class. And this is just, on face value, massive adoption for institution. Coming out of Chicago. Let's see. The leading global investment management firm, Northern Trust, with 1.4 trillion AUM as of December 31st, launched a tokenized share for its NIF Treasury instruments portfolio. Making the firm's entry into the digital assets market, the tokenized share class represents a digital mirror record of the fund's institutional share class using blockchain tech. Let's see, what are the initial offering available to clients on BNY's market-leading liquidity direct platform, which utilizes Goldman Sachs digital asset platform. There you go. These suckers are in, man. They are learning all about it. Make no doubt about it. They got their own platforms. They're doing their own research. They're ripping and roaring. Arby's bought Buffalo Wild Wings? Are you serious? Couldn't type there for a second. Wow. Thank you for dropping that knowledge. I had absolutely no idea. Huh. All right. Back to the show. XRP draws billions of RWAs as tokenization escalates. There we go. XRP Ledger is rapidly emerging as a foundation for Wall Street's tokenization push with nearly $2 billion in tokenized value. Does it show you on here? Is XRP on here? I mean, XRP Ledger. It says 300 million. Let's see. We go up. Let's turn everything off except for XRP Ledger. Turn them off, turn them off, turn them off, turn them off, turn them off. Okay. So we've got everything off except for XRP Ledger. And then let's go compare it to Ethereum. Ooh. Airbnb. Ooh. Solana. Not bad. A little bit closer. Stellar. Aptos. Pretty close to Aptos, man. Look at that. They got the same, a little bit higher. Right here, it's the same dip, same rise. Aptos ripped here. And then they both went up here. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting how that does, right? Let's see. Avalanche. Well, they ran very similar parallels. Arbitum. Same thing. That's interesting. Interesting how they. Wow. Very interesting. If you guys don't check out rwa.xyz, I would do that. A lot of really good information there. So, let's see. We did XRP. We did shrimping. That's it. Let's get back to the charts. I do want to make sure that we are looking. Where are things going? I have a feeling that we are going to go back down today. What are we on? We're on the daily. We got to set this thing to 48 minutes. Let's take a look at it. All right. So we are still above the 50-day. The 50 days down here. Here's the 100-day. So, and this is on the 48-minute. So it's a little bit different. If we were to go to a larger time frame like the 4-hour, we are above the 50, but below the 100. And it looks like we're going to continue to stay that way. Now, this is the break, right? Like we'll see, like if we break below the 50, then bears are in control. And that would be, that not saying that that's the confirmation of a short to get into. I think the better opportunity right now, to be perfectly honest with you, is to wait for the pumps. I mean, look what's happening here. Pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump. Wait for the pump, and then catch the dump. Because right now we are still in a downtrend. I know, look, on the 4-hour, we might have squeezed a little higher. I get it. On the daily, we squeezed a little higher. Let's zoom in on that. With a wick. Ay, Dios mío. Come on, cabron. So, like, even on the bodies, we put in a new high. Is that a reversal? Well, actually, what I need to do is this. To make sure that we're drawing a straight line from the top so you can see right there. I mean, it's a tiny bit, but at the end of the day, downtrend will last until October, November. Look, and that's where you got to do this. And this is why it's always important to look at. Look, we trade on the 1 minute, we trade on the 5 minute, we trade on the smaller time frames. I get it. But you got to do this. You got to take a look at what's going on overall. Do I think we are going to come down to this level right here? I certainly do. What other activity do we have right? Look at this. I mean, it's just, look at that support and resistance level. Oh, dang it. Got to make sure you hit the, but look, that was just one of the reasons. All right. We have this wick, and this goes down to like actually the point, right? Like we never hit that wick again. And there's a couple, but this spot right here because it was below this here. This was technically when we broke out above this resistance from the previous. And so, look, we have this wick that at some point in my mind we needed to revisit, and that's at 38.6. That's originally the line that lined up with when I did this the first time. Not only that move, but the measured move of what we're in right now. And as you can see, we've got that taken away. We can rebuild so you can see what I'm talking about. And that is this right here. So let's go boom, boom. Obviously, we've got our little move here. Let's duplicate that. Grab it. Send it here. Right? And so, like, remember, we just did that quick. But look, that stops. That's right down there. That's right down there. And I mean, like, we've done this before where we measure it. Like, we're still in the chop zone. Like, you know, we could go down a little bit more. We don't know when we make our break, up or down. But if we do make that down, boom, that goes right down to that same level, that 40,000. We'll just call it 40,000 because it's either going to be 38, 39. There'll be some wickage, but whatever. We're going to call it 40,000. We're going down to 40K. So it's the measured move. It's the wick. It's all of this support and resistance in the past. There's going to be so much freaking volume in that level. Thank you, David. Not financial advice. We're at least going there. Let's see. Keyword being patient. You are absolutely right, Cole. Patient. We got to be patient on this. That's the move right now. Ethereum chart. Let's take a look at the ETH chart. We're in the triangle of love, as we talked about yesterday. We'll see what happens. Still nothing playing out, but we are right where we were, just hanging tight. As you can see, technically, we should change that to green because that's an up arrow, right? ETH is on a local uptrend, even though, like, overall we're on a downtrend. We have to break out of the triangle of love, which we're always hopeful that we do. That's why we call it the triangle of love, because we want it to break to the upside. It might not happen this time. We might come up here and get rejected again on the trend line and come down, bounce around here. This is the Bitcoin Ethereum chart. Okay, this is Bitcoin against Ethereum. That's why I was like, wait, 2 cents? That doesn't seem right. Here's the actual ETH chart. And as you can see, that yellow line down there, this is something to be a note of. We have a multi-year uptrend still intact. We can slip down to, at this current trend, we are just on bodies. We're letting candles pass. So as you guys can see, with Ethereum, it is, for us to still stay on track for this multi-year uptrend, we got to just make sure that we close all of our candles below the 16 or above 1670, right? On this, like, we can't drop below 1660 today and close out. That would be detrimental to this. And obviously that starts to go up and up every single day as long as we continue to go up. And look, that means that there's huge fucking opportunity to catch this thing on the high side of the trend, right? Because look, as you can see, we can bring that right there. Look, it touches the wicks there, and then it goes to the body at the top. So look, as long as we stay in this movement, do you understand what kind of opportunity is to get made here? Holy Toledo. If we pump to the top of this and then decided to come back down, that's 164%. Think about if you had some leverage on there. If you timed this ETH trade out, y'all, we're going to get an ETH trade. We're going to get a Bitcoin trade. Maybe we'll throw in a Ondo one too. Look, I keep this on the back of my mic. I got a pin from the summit. Magnets right there. So I see it every day. I know all about it. Look, that's an opportunity, guys. This will eventually come back up. You see what it does. I mean, this doesn't lie. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what that means? The next move is fucking up. Generational wealth is what that is. Throw some leverage on that. Some leverage on that. Catch that. Catch that rip up. Once it gets past a certain point, it'll never come back. Look, never came back to $1,000. You bought it. If you had, obviously you don't have a trade in from 2022. If you do, you're getting fucking murdered on your trade fees, especially because it's not that high up from it. But like, if you had it from down here to up here, game over, right? Like, you're obviously not going to be able to do that, but you're pretty damn close. 1,800, shit. 1,900, shit. Up to, you see where this is going? Ah, why does it? It happens to everybody. I see everybody that does charts does that. It's so annoying. TradingView needs to figure that out. I know that's the operator, not the software. I understand that. If you look, this is going to be higher than we ever see because it's not going straight up. We know that. We know that we've got to go through a little bit of chop. We may go down a little bit more. It's probably going to take. What did the chart say? What did the chart say? Or what did the chat say? October until November. So let's go here. Let's draw a vertical line. Give me a vertical line in October. Beginning of October. The end of September. There it is. Let's make it a break-it point. This is on Ethereum. Let's go white line, 4 points. Well, we'll do red line, 4 points. Okay. So we technically could be going down or flopping around until then, potentially, according to what we're seeing in the chat. I firmly believe that it's probably going to go like, we'll come down here, maybe make it, something like that. Let's see. We'll keep that up. We'll see how it goes. We can delete this. We'll delete that little arrow because we know it's going up. We know it's going up. Shout out to my chat. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. All right. What else we got? Solana. The other day you heard me call for this. I got some DMs. People were like, dude, fuck you. I started laughing. I was like, people are so crazy. The same thing. Look, it's going up. It's going up right now. So let me just make this bigger so you guys could see what I'm looking at. Look, it's a structure measure move from the tumble to the fall. Obviously, we're wicking. We could probably, and this is on the weekly. We'll keep it here. We could redraw some of this maybe, but this was just kind of the way that it's been going. Obviously, the last 2 weeks we've had some volatility, but we stayed very flat as far as the candle bodies go. So if we do break to the downside, the measure of this first fall down here takes us to $20. Now, are you ready? The question is, are you ready for $20 Solana? Some people, again, said, fuck you, dude. You are retarded. No. Look, structurally, it could happen. That's like a thing. That's how it works. Is that going to happen? I don't know, but are you ready for it? If it does, I would be. I'd have my Soul wallet, whatever you're using, Soul Flare, or what are some of the other Solana wallets? Jupiter or Phantom. I'd have some stablecoin sitting in that wallet, just ready to pounce, just in case. If we do get a little dipski down to the 50s, down to the 60s, whatever, even lower, get it. That's how you get that port, baby. Now, would I keep those gains? potentially not. I think of ultimately when I sell that off, if I were to do this, if I were to get some 30, 20, whatever, 20 and some change or $30 Solana, wait for it to pop, absolutely put that right into Bitcoin. You guys know my strategy now. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a Bitcoin saver. I'm chain agnostic. I love everything. I don't want that to be taken out of context. I love all cryptos. I feel like, don't clip that. All right. So we'll see what happens. But I'll be ready. I will be ready to get some $20 Solana or some $30 Solana. We'll see. All right. How's XRP looking? Gave back a lot of those gains that we gave up in the bull. Look at that. This baby is on a tear down. We do wicks. You can still move up a little bit in a downtrend until you're not. You guys know the drill. So it's even on the low side of the trend, hopping down. So this one doesn't, like some of the other coins we were looking at, looked like they were making local. Let's put it on the daily. See what it's. No, this is just like straight up flat in the. You can see here, we're just. I mean, that means you got some good support. Potentially might not drop too much lower than this. Is this the coin you want to get into? It's up to you. It's up to you. Stinky Link is doing the same thing as almost, right? Just you've seen it just kind of hit it some decent support. When you need the line, it ain't there. So we've got some support levels that we're looking at here on Link. Who was it? Was it Carrie who was saying sub $8 he was buying? Hopefully you got some of that, Carrie. But like, unlike the other one that was flat, we do have potentially a reversal. This could have been ultimately the reversal wick right here, right? Down to 711. Holy Toledo. What a good shop that was. You may never be able to get Chainlink damn near close to $7 ever again. My gosh. That could be the ultimate low. We could see here, Les, you know what I'm gonna do actually? Is I am gonna put alert on this one. Make sure you guys do that. And actually what I'm going to do later today after the show is I'm going to get the code and I'm going to send that back into the Discord. And I'm actually going to, when I go through later today and do some charts, because today's a down day, we're going to look at some charts and look for some opportunities, because on the next time we pump, we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna do what we were talking about, where we're buying. Let's go back to the 48-minute on Bitcoin. Or we're buying, or we're shorting the pumps, right? So like, that might have been the ETH chart we were looking at, when we did that. But the whole idea, this is the 48-minute chart, right? Like, if this thing pumped, if you catch this thing like anywhere around here, right, and you put in a short, catch that, that's good. Same thing with this right here. You put this, you try to catch somewhere in there. My marketer was way off there. Let's try that again. You try to catch it somewhere in here, and then you can short down there, right? I mean, this is just honestly, it's a trade. Even though we're trading sideways, we're seeing some crazy volatility. It's all manageable if you're just paying attention, man. Just wait for the pumps. Just wait for the pumps. And even if like you're this impatient, you just want to get like every little one, just wait for them. It just happens. Like You could crush it. Just wait for the pumps. I mean, there's a few inside of here too, right? Where you had this little pump and then the dump, that pump, the dump, this pump, the dump. I mean, you can look at it 1,000 different ways. It depends on which time frame you're trading, depending on how long you want to stay in. Depends your no guts, no glory kind of a thing. But get trading with us on BitUnext. We're going to be doing a new promotion very soon. Hopefully, I know several of you took advantage of the deposit bonus that ended yesterday. Shout out to our team. Let me look at our. I'm gonna bring this up and let's see. Let me go to my history here. Because I want to look at what we're doing for our volume because we're crushing it, man. Like I posted just the other day that we hit $1 million in trade volume for our community, our trade community. And let's see, partners. Here we go. So we hit just over $1 million in our trading community, and then just like a few days later, because I think that was just like last week, or late last week, we're at like 1.7 the last I looked. So let me see here. Let's go today. Actually, all. That's what I need. Volume. 1.781 million. So we're almost at 1 point. We're getting damn near close to $2 million in trade volume. So shout out to our trade team over on BitUnext. And this is without any formalization of what we're doing. We're all just doing our trading right now. Again, I've got the Discord created. I've got some of the permissions set up. I've got some bots in there to like help with the verification and to give you the credentials that you need in order to access things. I just need to make sure everything's working and then tie into the paywall exactly where you can access and whatnot. And so we'll get through that this week. But I want to make sure that anybody who is trading with us on BitUnext, that we've got you connected. I'll create like a specific group for the people that are over there. Maybe you want to take advantage of the community for some other reasons. You want to be in the Discord for other reasons than trading. We'll be doing some other stuff. We'll be doing some NFT stuff like maybe like, we talked about the Empire DAO for a little bit. I don't know how this all structures, but one of the things that I am looking forward to this year is doing some RWA exploration myself, right? Like we're going to create some companies and some businesses, and then we are going to fractionalize that and then issue ownership through NFTs. And so that is going to be taking place later this year. So and that will also, that'll have like, business opportunities will be in there as well. So it'll be, like all sorts of different things that we can do inside that Discord to create opportunities, revenue streams, all that stuff. Cause that's the goal, at least 7. Everybody should have 7 revenue streams. So that's what we're doing. All right. I believe that's like it for today. We're getting damn near close to 9:30 and I've taken a bunch of your time. I appreciate you guys being here. Never tried the 48-minute chart. David uses 7, 14, 21, 42, 84, 168, 336, all multiples to get a perspective other than just 15, 1 hour forward. Yeah. What it does, why you look at, some of those other charts, like for me, it's probably for the same reason as you, is that you can, I'm not really saying front run, but I am saying that for everybody else, if you're just looking at the 1 hour, but I'm looking at the 48, I'm going to have a better idea of what's happening before you are because you're zoomed out a little bit farther, right? Like if you're just looking at day candles versus like the 5-minute, the day looks totally different. So, Balmer, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here. That's going to do it for, boom. Yeah, there we go. That's going to do it for today. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you are smashing the like button. If you are watching on YouTube, you know the drill. If you're watching on X, you can definitely repost the video out, tag some friends. Let's find some guests. Let's line some people up for the next several weeks here. And so some things we can look forward to and have some great conversations. All sorts of topics. I want to make sure that, we have high-level conversations. We're talking about, obviously the things that I'm interested in are like tokenization, RWAs. We like trading. We like the macro look. We like, what's going on with regulation, what's going on with stablecoins. It seems to be hot topics. We can talk some geopolitical stuff. That's fine with me. We can hang in there. We can do that stuff. So if anybody's interested, make sure you hit me up. Let me know. I'm down like that. was going to say down to clown, but I'm not. I don't know why I was going to say that. David, appreciate you, brother. You all have a great day. We're going to be working on 1% better stuff. I'll have some messaging. No segment today, but we'll have some stuff throughout the weeks, the things to be looking at, taking care of. So just make sure that you are working on yourself 1% better every single day. All right, that does it. Ciao for now, mi amigos.